Intuitive eating. Does it work for everyone? Let's watch a short video clip and let's talk about it. Hey everybody, it's Allie. I'm on a fantabulous weight loss quest, and hopefully you'll subscribe, come along for the ride, because I put out new videos every day. And right now we're gonna roll that beautiful bean footage. It's not bean footage, it's somebody's video. And then we're gonna talk about it. Okay, let's just watch the video.
I made a video saying that I was going to have to track my food forever, otherwise I was going to gain weight. And that video made a lot of traction, got a lot of people talking. And everybody's just like, you just have to learn how to intuitively eat. Well, intuition is telling me to eat the entire bag of chips. And I know some of you feel me on this. And everybody's like, oh, you just have to train yourself. I hear you. I do. And that works for some people. But especially if you have a history of binging, intuitive eating doesn't really work. And I'm not saying I'm going to weigh everything out to the gram or starve myself. That's not what I'm talking about. But I do have to be mindful about certain things and pay attention to tracking it. Otherwise, I will just overeat.
Intuitive eating. This is something that I have talked about before on my channel. Specifically, I talked about why I personally feel that it's a great option for a lot of people whose bodies function normally. You know, Oprah was recently quoted talking about, how she didn't realize that there was this huge difference between what goes on mentally for somebody who is naturally thin and what goes on mentally for somebody who has obesity. And it's a completely different brain functionality. And you don't realize that, or many don't realize that, until they take a GLP-1 medication. I know that I had that very same realization, where you have this aha moment and you go, wow, this is what normal people think. This is what skinny people think. This is what people who don't obsess about food think, which is a whole lot of nothing relating to food. You just have normal thoughts, but you don't have the compulsions, the overwhelming urge, the overthinking tied around food. And it's phenomenal. And I love the life that I have now. And many people who are on a GLP-1 say the same thing. So what is it about intuitive eating that I think is problematic in the GLP-1 community? Well, unfortunately, we have an entire subsect of people in our GLP-1 community who are not being properly advised by their medical providers, and they're not eating. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. They're just losing weight, losing muscle via an extreme calorie deficit. Not a normal calorie deficit, not a calorie deficit that is putting you in the range of losing, 0.5 to 2 pounds per week, which is the healthy range. I'm talking about people that are essentially starving themselves. They're losing a lot of muscle mass, and it's problematic. And they don't have proper guidance and proper health from their medical team, which is a problem in this community. So why is it problematic to tell those people to do intuitive eating? Because they're intuitively not eating. And the flip side is, how do you tell someone to do intuitive eating if they're on a medication that's suppressing their appetite? So you're not having regular hunger cues because of the appetite suppression. So how are you going to intuitively maneuver that? Now, for those of us that have been on the medication for some time, who are potentially, either we've been on it for a long time, or we're in maintenance, or we've been to higher doses, for us, it's a little bit easier in my opinion, to navigate this theory of intuitive eating. Take a shot every time I say intuitive eating. No, don't if you're on a GLP-1 because you'll be sick. It's easier to navigate, right? Because we have been on this for a while. Myself, I have been on the meds for well over a year and 2 months, and I understand the concept of, okay, I'm not hungry, but it's a scheduled time for me to eat, and I need to account for reaching my calorie deficit, which is a big challenge for people who are newer to the meds. So in my opinion, and I'm not a doctor, it is setting new people up for failure to tell them, oh, just do intuitive eating. Or I've even seen some people who claim that their doctors tell them, oh, don't worry about it, just don't eat if you're not hungry, which is part of intuitive eating. Okay, but you're not intuitive eating because you're taking a medication that's suppressing your appetite. I mean, when I first started out on these medications, there were like 3 days in a row after I took my shot that I could have not eaten. I knew that was bad for me and I didn't do it, but all you have to do is search on TikTok and you'll find 20 billion people that are like, we listen and we don't judge. I didn't eat for 3 days, right? By the way, we are judging you. We are judging. Don't do that. Okay, Nancy? Don't do that. That's negative. We're not going to be negative Nancy. Okay? We're going to eat our calories. We're not going to lose all of our muscle because we understand that it's important for our long-term health. Okay? There's more to losing weight than pushing yourself to the point of, potentially a controlled ED. Okay, we're not going to go that route. We're going to do things right. We're going to do it consistently. Slow and steady wins the race. We're not going to do that diet culture garbage. So, do I think that some people can do intuitive eating while on a GLP-1? Yes, absolutely. But those people are highly educated. They're very much in tune with how their body reacts as they go up in doses. They're not switching meds every 5 minutes, which is something that I'm seeing more often now, which absolutely baffles me. So they have this level of consistency. They've got their nutrition on point. They've got their exercise on point. They've got their water on point. They've got their protein on point, right? If those people want to do intuitive eating, more power to you. But if you are just starting out on this medication and you don't have all of that dialed in with a level of consistency that you are seeing consistent improvements in your health, mind you, not just necessarily weight loss, but in your health, then I don't recommend you try to layer something on top of that. There are so many things that you need to learn while on a GLP-1 quest, and you don't need to pile stuff on. I saw a post the other day in a support group where somebody was asking what all supplements they need because they were just starting out on a GLP-1. And they took a picture of their Amazon cart and it had 20 items in the cart. And I was just like, oh, because I've been there, done that. You don't need all of that stuff, but it's one of those things where you learn as you go, and the longer you go, the more you learn. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe. I'd love to have you along for the ride. If you're looking for a positive-only support group where you can post your questions and get honest, truthful, helpful, positive answers, definitely check out the link in the description box below. And make sure you check out my other videos where I have helpful tips and tricks that can help you on your health journey. And as always, be kind, rewind.